Hello everybody and welcome to this extended new moon in Libra reading. As you can see, I have all four of the crystals laid out with their cards, so if you have not chosen one yet, just take notice of which one you noticed first, or if you would like, if you're a little bit unsure, I welcome you to pause this video and to meditate for just a minute and come to your breath and then look again with fresh eyes to see which message is for you. Just a really brief recap of the general reading that these are all relating to. There is a sort of shift coming and a new beginning is coming with it, which is very characteristic of new moon energy. So each of these are going to be looking at the new energy coming in. There's a bit about overcoming some anxiety, potentially some sort of loss as you're moving forward. So yeah, we are going to begin with the first garnet. I will leave timestamps in the description as well as my website if you would like to read anything that I've been writing. And then this will be the second deck, the third deck, and the fourth deck. So, yes. Alright, group one. So we are going to take a look at what lies below the garnet. So your grounding card for this reading is soulmates. So you may be meeting some people who you have a soul contract with. It doesn't need to be necessarily romantic, but there is a very deep connection, and you will know who these people are because it will sort of be like a, oh my god, where have you been kind of feeling. These people will have a lot to do with this new beginning happening in your life. So just watch out for any messages that they might have for you or any recommendations, and really take them seriously, what they have to say or offer. Okay, the energy surrounding this, we have the Strength card in reverse. We have the Star, we have the Ace of Swords, and we have the Tower. So, with the Strength card in reverse, this all feels really positive to me and quite intense because you have three major arcanas with the Strength, the Star, and the Tower. And then the Ace of Swords is also a card of triumph and clarity. So I feel like some event is going to take place that you're going to see behind somebody's mask. And maybe with the Strength card in reverse, that mask is that you're seeing that some relationships that you had were not based on, spirit, but on the physical realm purely, and that's it. Like maybe like sexual attraction, or like just like money, or what you had to physically offer. And I feel like there will be some sort of like tower moment with those people in which you're letting them go. And it might be with like the quarantine, maybe those were people that like you haven't been hearing from as much because you can't really offer them anything right now. So it doesn't feel like the tower moment is going to be like super intense. However, I definitely do feel like there will be some sort of like falling out, maybe with people who have been your friends for a while, maybe even like a relationship. But just know that as you release those outdated relationships that maybe resonated with an old way of being, you are creating space for these soulmates to come in who are really important for your path. And I definitely think that as you release these people, it'll be like a burden is sort of lifted, and you will be seeing so much more clearly, and you will be feeling so much more inspired and just illumined with these two cards. It's really quite beautiful. Like, the star is all about wish fulfillment and inspiration, and it just feels so mystical. Like, you're almost, like, I feel like this is like some sort of like mystical download that will be coming, or just something that feels surreal. Like, it'll happen and you'll be like, oh my god, is this real? Yeah, with that Ace of Swords there too, it's like, this is like, I feel like this is a successful completion. And referring to the initial reading, the general reading, I think that that's where this regeneration is. Like, that volcanic eruption of the regeneration card is like paved over the old relationships, and I feel like that's the Tower moment, and that's the Strength card, you know, is what that lava devoured, and the Star and the Ace of Swords is like the tree that was growing out of it. And I'm actually going to pull out those two cards since I have them here, and I'll leave these out for the readings, just because I do feel like they will be very relevant throughout this. Can you see that? Yeah, okay, sweet. And then we'll replace our angel here. Excellent. So, yeah, I feel like for those who chose this, a lot of this rebirth is going to be revolving around the people in your life. So definitely be choosing who you're keeping close, and release that which is no longer serving you. And that way, you know, the Star and the Ace of Swords, I feel like it's definitely directly related to that Treasure Island card. Like, you will get your wish and you will get clarity on whatever, you know, as you're like, I don't want this person in my life because this. Look at the reason, the this, and be like, oh yeah, like maybe I was like that before, and, you know, I'm not like that now, and so, you know, if I stayed in this relationship, I would just want to, like, change them, and that's not fair. They should be able to be who they want. So that's definitely what this transition is feeling like for this group. From Nature's Whispers, we have Trust Your Own Understanding, and she's, oh my gosh, do you see she has a mask? So again, as you remove your mask and you see the masks being removed from others with this Tower moment, just know that as you release that aspect of yourself through, you know, releasing these relationships that are no longer serving you, then you're actually removing that mask of yourself, and you no longer are that. Yeah, and trust your own understanding. If while I'm talking about this, certain people come to your mind, just know that that's who it's referring to. Next, we have Abundance. Prepare yourself for incoming abundance. Release any mental blocks you may have. In Fairyland and Humanland, there's enough abundance for everyone. That's beautiful. So I feel this is directly related to how you view abundance. So maybe you're letting go of people who have lack mentality, people who work jobs that they don't like just for income, people who spend money on, you know, things that you don't find valuable, or even abundance in that maybe you're releasing people who, you know, overindulge in things that you feel are harmful, and maybe you used to do that and you're no longer wanting to do that. So as you release these people, more people will come into your life that value the same things that you do, and that view abundance in the same way as well. So maybe with that Strength card in reverse too, you know, maybe you're releasing people who viewed abundance in a destructive way. Yeah, and yeah, as you release them, you'll be bringing in people who use this abundance for the greatest good of all beings, and they are more balanced with it. It feels like definitely more balanced and prosperous. Abundance is held in the heart chakra, so again, it just makes a lot of sense that as you make room in your heart for new people, you also make room for abundance in your own life. So if you've been struggling with finances, this is a definite sign that it is linked with, you know, those that you're keeping company with. Next we have dream cards. So if you remember your dreams, look for these symbols and the conditions around them. First we have the ocean. It says go with the flow and flow with the glow. So this is really beautiful. It definitely feels like when I think of the ocean, I think of the collective consciousness, which is really beautiful because I feel like you're getting more in touch with that with this card. Also, if you do see the ocean in your dreams, pay attention to the water. I don't know if you guys, look up meanings, but I pay most attention to water over anything else in my dreams. So if you do dream of being in water, just know that if it's, murky, that maybe you're not seeing clearly, or if, it's really choppy and there's a lot of waves or you feel like you're drowning, that maybe you're feeling emotionally overwhelmed. If you're swimming in it with ease, that, you're emotionally balanced, and if it's clear waters, the same. And yeah, since it says go with the flow, if you're being carried along like a river or something with the flow, just know that you're effortlessly moving forward and being guided by spirit. So yeah, look for water in your dreams, not just the ocean. I definitely feel like this is, the ocean is very vast, and I feel like this is also like a broad symbol. So look for rivers, lakes, creeks, swimming pools, whatever it may be. And if you don't initially know what it's saying to you, look up the dream meaning. I use dreamwoods.com, and there's also an app I just found the other day that has all the same definitions. That's a lot more easy to access. So your next dream symbol is bridge, and it says stay strong and remain connected to what is important to you. So a bridge in a dream can, I believe, symbolizes like bridging the gap between like maybe thought and action, like what you say and what you do. Maybe like paying attention to what's on each side of the bridge can help bring a little bit more awareness to that too. But it's definitely like a transformation. It feels like a transformational time, and it's almost like the salt water of the ocean is like cleansing away this old thing. Maybe even taking a salt bath could be good for you guys, or a few of them, an Epsom salt bath, just in case there's any energetic cords that need to be cleared away. And then you'll be able to cross this bridge to what resonates more deeply with yourself. It definitely seems like, I keep wanting to say a transformation, what's the word? Transition. Some sort of transition in your life. And again, however it resonates with you. Also, if this is resonating a lot with you, but maybe you want to know a little bit more, just send me a message or email me. I'll leave my email in the description as well. If you would like a personal reading, I'll probably be doing a discounted price for this, and I'll also leave that in the description when I decide if you want, even more personalized, because while this is like a branch of the original one, depending how many people watch it, we can get even more specific here. So a couple more oracle cards here. We have the Strength card again, Power, which I just think that is wild. Yeah, and then the Nine of Pentacles, Material Harvest. So what I'm getting here is there is a lot of power to your feeling, specifically feeling for you guys, because the ocean and the star, are what are surrounding it, and they're both like, they both have, oh my god, this is wild, they look so much alike. They both have their feet in the water. There's both like water pouring down from them. They both have this bright star overhead, and they both just look so peaceful. So I feel like here, for these people, maybe you're somebody who manifests really strongly through, you know, maybe your creative pursuits, like maybe you create your reality with like art or, you know, writing or something. But I really just feel like maybe you're realizing how powerful your thoughts are here. Because with the Ace of Swords too, that's like an illumination. Like maybe you've like changed the way that you're thinking, and so you know, you watched an actual change happen in your life, and through observing that, you'll gain a certain clarity. Material Harvest tells me that you're getting exactly what you've wished for, probably through feeling. Because with manifestation, feeling and emotion is one of the most important things, and we've talked about that in the first reading as well, that when you open yourself to the feeling of love rather than fear, you open your heart to this state of abundance. So it definitely feels like that as you're strengthening your thoughts, because she also, if you see the star card, she has a light on the headband of her head connecting to the star. So it definitely feels like you're a very potent manifester, and something may have happened where, you know, you've shattered an old way of thinking, and that's why maybe it was like something that was keeping you in a state of fear, that was keeping your heart closed off. And as something has happened that's been helping you, you know, work through that, you're seeing beyond the physical. Because with the Strength card, it just immediately makes me think of like lust and like just physical being. I feel like you're elevating your thought from this very like 3D view of the world where you think it's just material, and you know, something happened maybe with this tower moment that like blew your mind, and you were like, wow, that originated in my mind, and then it happened in real life. And you know, this is a really powerful, you know, you have 4 major arcana cards here and the Strength card twice, first in reverse and then upright. So man, this is so powerful. Like, your treasure directly relating to the first reading is understanding that you can have whatever you want, starting with your mind. I feel like with this bridge too, it's like, you know, bridging the gap between what's in your mind and what you want to see in real life. Like, because you are just a drop in the ocean, and you know, when you oh my god, when you put your foot in the water, you create these waves of manifestation. If you didn't watch the first video, definitely go watch it, because I literally was talking about having a moment where you connect so deeply with your crown chakra that suddenly you understand like everything, and then you're able to move forward like with angels at your back, like cheering you on, because you had that moment of realization, and it echoed so deeply into the cosmos that you'll be able to move forward triumphantly now. This is just so beautiful. I really want to keep talking to you guys. This is like giving me shivers. I love what I'm seeing here. Okay, I'm gonna move on though, or else I feel like I'm gonna become redundant. Again, if you want a personal reading about this, go ahead and send me a message. But I feel like if you chose this first group, you already know, you know, with all of this powerful energy out here. So first we have Life Path, number 20. And then we have Orbs of Light, number 40. So what I feel like happened here is you got a glimpse of what your life could look like. Because this feels like step 1 and then step 2. Or this happened and then this happened, because 20 is half of 40, right? Also looking at the dates, this is really significant because it's 4/22/2020. So this is just really freaking potent. So what this is saying here is that you know, these soulmates are people from your past life. So as you release You know, people who have maybe just been your friends for a really long time, but who are no longer resonating with you. You'll draw on these new people who, because you've changed as a person, these people are on your new level and they're here for this new phase of your life. So, really just, I feel like pay attention to the connections that you're making right now and the people that you're meeting, because they have really powerful clues as to who you are on a cellular level rather than a cellular level. I've been using that so much lately, but this is like cellular level and this is like cellular level, right? Cellular, cellular. You're moving forward to a far more enlightened place where you're aware of your power, and you stand in that, because this is like the empowered person card too, of like you can have anything and you're so aware. He has the sun behind his head. So yeah, these people are like giving you little like nuggets of, you know, who you were before. And I feel like with these two cards coming up, like you definitely knew these people in a past life, probably worked with them. Maybe they were your best friends or confidants then. But really like dig into the connection and find the similarities, because in those similarities you'll find the true essence of who you are. Now with the Orbs of Light card, this is just reminding you that you have a powerful team surrounding you, which the initial reading said the same thing, that you know, there are other beings that are higher dimensional that maybe we can't really see, that are wanting you to move forward in this way and to trust yourself, to trust your understanding. And with that, they may appear to you in photographs as orbs of light. So maybe like try taking photos with like the sun behind you or something if you'd like to see, you know, what beings are around you. This oracle also says that you can draw more of those beings in by raising your vibration, because they love that, and also with other people. The author said specifically like going in the woods and doing like a meditation or a prayer and dancing and you know, raising the vibration in that way will bring these beings in, because they're so attracted to that raising of energy and awareness. So yeah, oh my god, this is so beautiful. I'll pull a couple of Scrabble letters for you. I've been having a lot of fun with these. So, tell me about the soulmates. We have W and we have A. Let's see. Yeah. And another A and an I. So yeah, however that shouts out to you. One of these fell out. If you watched my last reading, I wrote down a bunch of stuff I can be doing to stay busy during quarantine, and one fell out when I drew them, and it says paint. So maybe you know, like I said, maybe you create your reality through your art, and you know, what you draw or what you paint manifests. So really channel that gift. Maybe you're meeting somebody who paints. Okay, I'm gonna draw one more for you. Sage Cleanse. Oh my god, you guys. Okay, so I definitely feel like if this was your reading, you might have a little additional cleansing to do before you have fully released these toxic things. So take a few baths. I read that if you do like a bath every day for like 3 days, 6 days, or 9 days, you know, with Epsom salts or cleansing oils, that can help release any like hexes or negative attachments. I definitely feel like you have a need though to cleanse, since you got Sage Cleanse with that. So maybe even have Reiki performed on you. Reiki is so powerful. My friend Randy made me actually bawl with the session that she did for me, and it was really powerful. Like as soon as she put her hands in my energy, I was just sobbing. So Yeah, that's what I have for you. Take care of yourself, and if this was yours, I would love if you would share with me, the experience that you're having, because I feel really connected to this set of people. I think this is really beautiful and really powerful, and it just feels good in my body. It just feels so good. So yeah, again, if you would like a personal reading about this, or if you just want to tell me about what's going on, I will leave my email below. Thank you so much for watching, and happy new moon to you. Hello, Group 2, and welcome to your reading. If anyone knows what this stone is, please tell me, because I have had it for freaking ever, and I'm so curious every time I use it. So we're going to get started. I did pull out the two cards from the first reading, so again, if you haven't watched that one, please go back and watch that first, because it will sort of talk about the nature of the reading I'm about to do for you. So your grounding card is exchanging gifts. So you may be given an opportunity here, and just know that you are worthy of it and deserving of it, and that you're getting it because you've been generous in the past. A few more cards regarding this. We have the Hanged Man, the World, the Nine of Wands, and the Ace of Wands. So you may have just been kind of hanging out and waiting for something to happen. Sort of going in and meditating, gaining your enlightenment there. And it may have been a long and arduous journey with that Nine of Wands, but it looks like, your waiting is over. The World card is all about endings and graduation, so it's like this phase that you've gone through of introspection has awakened something in you and allowed you, I feel like that's what your regeneration is really about this time that you've spent reflecting, and you've come to some sort of realization that's allowing you to graduate with the World card onto something bigger and better, in which now you are the one who holds the wisdom. The Nine of Wands is like the wounded warrior, so it's almost like, you've gone through a lot, but through that you've learned so much, relating to your soul purpose here, that you have so much to offer now, and it's like you were being given the opportunity in this new phase to, exercise what you've learned. The person in the Oracle card is pointing to the Ace of Wands, so it feels like something that you've manifested for yourself in this Hanged Man time. That's a very enlightened card, working towards enlightenment. So it might be that, we'll look at the other cards that come up here as well and relate back, but it's as if, what you have discovered has awakened you to your power, because that Ace of Wands is so powerful. It's like a potent manifester, like of enlightened connection to source. So you're going to be gifted a place to utilize these skills and abilities, and that exchanging of gifts is that you have a lot to offer. So you're very deserving and worthy of this opportunity to do. You've already put in the work. And it's turned you into like this whole new person. So, yeah, we'll look at these other cards and see how they relate. We have Be Spontaneous and Celebrate Differences. So, I immediately noticed the moon on Be Spontaneous. So this may come in during the full moon. I would say specifically during the full moon at the end of the cycle, so in 21 days, provided that quarantine is over, or not. I've still been going in nature and, not, necessarily hanging out with people a whole bunch, but, putting yourself out there, even if it's going to the grocery store, I feel like, during the few days around the next full moon, I would say go out and really just like do something out of the ordinary or go somewhere that you haven't gone for a while. Just follow that little voice inside you that's like, maybe I'll go here. And you might run into an opportunity in which you see these people holding hands. It almost feels like an agreement. Like you'll find someone who wants to work with you and, you know, start an alliance almost. So it feels like, make sure you're putting yourself out there and stepping outside of your usual, because that's what will open these gifts to you. Next we have celebrate differences, which is really beautiful. I would say for you, this is maybe a reminder that even though you've grown a lot spiritually and may have changed, to still, be humble when you're around people who maybe haven't, and to just celebrate that, maybe you were there at one point and another, and now you're where you are, and so, even if they're there now, maybe they'll get to where you are one day, but, really just make sure that you're staying humble through all of this, because there is a risk when, you've evolved yourself and stepped into like a newly found power with that Ace of Wands. There's a risk of getting in your ego with it to, to balance it. But it only creates, an unbalance. So just make sure to stay humble and respect other people for who they are. Because everyone is different and everyone has something different to offer. Your next card is Temptation. It says, are you in denial about an unhealthy habit, perhaps one that makes you feel guilty? This fairy says that you have the power to overcome temptation, whatever its guise. So I feel like that's something that you are leaving in the past, or maybe, just kind of starting to close it out with the hangman, like, maybe you've been waiting to, fully let this thing go, and this is just a reassurance that, if you let it go, you'll step towards far more serendipity in your life, and, your manifestation powers will be able to flourish, because maybe this is what was keeping you from manifesting, is the little, distractions of like, ooh, that would feel good, ooh, that would taste good, ooh, that could be fun. This is kind of just warning you against that and just asking that you stay the path. Next we have Pure Intention. It says, the Fairy of Manifestation will help you to use your wishes wisely, manifest your heart's desire with pure intention, and for the highest good of all. So this is really powerful. It's asking you, now that you know all that you're capable of, and now that you know that you are this potent manifester, with the Ace of Wands and the Hangman, it reminds me of Siddhartha, how he says, what can he do? He can sit, he can fast, and he can think. Sit, think, and fast. And this feels like maybe that's how you manifest, is through that perfection of body and mind, and allowing for that empty space. So the temptation is like, obviously as humans, we have to eat, we have to do those things, but I feel like this is saying, like, just make sure that you're putting goodness in your body to get goodness out. And keep your intention pure with what you would like to manifest, because you can have anything. So if you have temptation on your mind, then you might be running yourself into a tower moment. And while that tower moment could help you grow, it just feels like you've already done that with the Hanged Man in the world. You're moving on from, you are graduating from this way of being. And maybe even be spontaneous is in with that of maybe you were in very like relationships that were, you know, based in this temptation, like devil energy, and what you're releasing, as you release that and you set a pure intention, you know, your world will just blossom around you. We also have the card Fairy Spotting. It says it's time to go fairy spotting. It's said that seeing is believing, but the fact is that the opposite is true. Believing is seeing. So as you believe in yourself and your power as well, you will see your thoughts come to, you know, fruition, maybe even quickly, and maybe you'll be, you know, playing around with how quickly you can do it. I will say my mind feels a little bit more foggy during this reading than the last one, so I just want to put that out there that, you know, if you're feeling that way, it is because of the temptations that you've been allowing in. So just really be diligent moving forward to, you know, only consume that which is good for you. And I say consume in, you know, many ways. It can be people, conversations, food, drink, drugs, you know, television shows, books, like any media, even the news. You know, just try to really cleanse that and purify that, so that it's not getting mixed in with, you know, your potent manifestation skills, because if you're taking in all of that static, it just feels like static. It can get blurbed in with what you're creating for yourself, and you don't want that. You want, you know, a pure creation that is of your own thought, your own creation, without any interference from external influences. So your dream oracle cards are food and eating. Be mindful of the thoughts you're ingesting. What did I just fucking say? Sorry, what did I just say though? So, and again, because I'm laying these out from left to right, it feels like your temptation might be with food, although it does say like the thoughts that you're ingesting too. So yeah, just be mindful of what you're letting in, definitely. It could be specifically food, like eating stuff with like high fructose corn syrup or something you're allergic to, or that just doesn't make you feel good, maybe something that's processed, or frozen food. Just be more diligent about your diet specifically, but also, yeah, like the energy you're letting in. I see elevator here and it says rise above, so rise above that temptation, you guys. Seriously. I feel like for those of you who drew this one, maybe you're still a little bit in the depths of some sort of addictive behavior, and your spirit guides are really calling you to really overcome that. Your next card is Angel. Tap into your higher wisdom. So I feel like you definitely have angels, you know, that are here with you, and they are trying to help you during this time. But the thing is that you have to be the one to let them in, you know. You can ask for them, you can call them forward, but if you don't ask for them or show them that you'll take their messages seriously, they are going to walk away, or just not come at all. So if this is resonating with you, just try to overcome whatever earthly habits are keeping you down low, and know that once you release that, it'll be like, you know, taking off like a brick from each of your feet and arms, and suddenly you'll be able to fly, because, you know, it was one of the last things that maybe was holding you back from this full rebirth. Okay, I love this oracle deck. It's like a tarot oracle deck. Your cards are Intuition, the High Priestess, the Two of Pentacles, the Star card, Hope, and the Sun, Light. So this is so beautiful. So with the intuition card where it is, it's like you know what raises you up and what keeps you down. You know, maybe you're hiding something, because she's also about, you know, what's hidden and sort of secrets. Secrets you're being fed, maybe. Someone might be being dishonest with you and you need to elevate yourself from that person. But it just feels like really your intuition will rise as you release this. Like, I feel like you're eating low vibrational food and you need to, like, eat some raw fruits and veggies and whole grains. And that will help you a lot with your mind. Like, already as I'm going through the reading, like, my mind is already starting to become more clear. It's kind of wild. And you're going to have to decide for yourself with the Two of Pentacles here, movement, choices, and decisions. You're going to have to decide which path you want to take. This reminds me of the reading I did a few days ago, so if you're interested, if this is resonating with you, maybe go back and watch that one. It's another pick a card. But there was one that was talking about having to choose your path. It was about this dream that I had with, there was this sign that pointed to the left, which would be the lunar channel, and pointed to the right, which would be the solar channel. And there was a tribe, and they called the left side the hunting trail, and it was, you know, the paths that they had been using for forever to hunt. And that felt very much like survival mode to me, and, you know, more carnal, like aggressive, physical 3D behavior. And to the right, it was the L trail of the scribe. So, you know, learning information that has been preserved for many years. And El in Hebrew is another name for God. So right now you are being called to choose which way you'd like to go. And it feels like if you're watching this that you will choose to move forward in a better way, choosing the El path. But you need to find your balance first, because Two of Pentacles is also about finding your balance. So as you release these negative habits, specifically, I keep seeing the food card, specifically around what you're consuming, you'll be elevated to a new level of consciousness in which you see very clearly and manifest very clearly with hope and light. It's like when you allow that energy of release fully, that's when the angels are going to come. Do you see? This is a star, this is a star, and this is a star. Guys, if you can release this, and it doesn't feel like something that's heavy, it's just something more that's convenient. When you can release this, all of your fucking dreams are going to come true, you guys. This hope card is about wish fulfillment. This sun card is about enlightenment and illumination, and this is the happiest card in all of the tarot, you guys. This is the best card that you can get. And the angel's there, so it's like when you open to that energy, it's going to be like this amazing influx of all the like stuff that you can't even imagine right now, because like you're so bogged down by what you're consuming. When you release it, your life is going to change in such a dramatic way that you'll just be like, well, why did I not do this sooner? Probably because you didn't think it was significant enough. You didn't think it was significant enough because it was something so small as changing your diet. But that one little thing, holy shit, you guys, that one little thing will change your whole freaking world. So your final cards are the Eternal Now and Past Life Activation. So starting with this, kind of branching off of what we were just talking about, sometimes when we're uncomfortable with the present moment, we find ways to numb ourselves, and sometimes it's with food. I find like watching Netflix and eating food is really addicting, but it also can sometimes pull me away from myself and being present and really enjoying my food. So really this is calling you to come into the moment in whatever way you can, because that is what will guide you now. So If, you're starting to get tempted towards that, that devil energy, whatever it is for you that's keeping you connected to that low vibration, this is just really asking you to center yourself and, find a moment of stillness, maybe drink a cup of water or something, and see if you can distract yourself from that thought. Maybe find a really good book that you can get so drawn into that you can forget about this other thing, or go for a walk, or just make this promise to yourself to really commit to the present moment, because looking at your overall energy too, exchanging gifts, the present is the present. The present is the present. So relating to the first reading that I did of the new moon, which again, if you haven't watched that, please do, there seemed to be a lot of anxiety and having to release something, and this definitely feels like whatever you were eating may have been even creating anxiety in you. Maybe you were eating food that was heavy karmically, and it was keeping you in a state that was of fear. And so when you can release that and really come into the moment, and just be present, miracles can happen for you. And then we have past life activation. So through this, maybe you will discover aspects of yourself that are from past lives, like maybe looking at what it is you're addicted to, and where in the world and during what time period was that popular? Like, are you drawn to Mediterranean food? Are you drawn to Egyptian food? Are you drawn to, I don't know, like Scandinavian food? I don't know, maybe you were a Viking or something. But just take notice of, what are you clinging on to, and how do you move forward? How do you come into the present moment? Because that also has a lot to tell you about your purpose. This is also saying that as you release that heavy thing that we've been talking about, you're going to be developing a skill that you've learned over many lifetimes. And if you're not already aware of what that is, then it'll come in during this time. But I feel like maybe you're aware of it, but you've maybe been feeling uninspired, or like you just can't quite do it. Even though you love it and you're good at it and you know you would be successful if you did it, I feel like when you release that heaviness, this will become a lot more accessible to you. And this is where the treasure lies for you, is the knowledge. And also maybe this is what you've been waiting for with this Hangman card. You've just been waiting and waiting, and once you can release this, you'll move into your graduation phase. You'll have learned the lessons with this Wounded Warrior card, and then your passion will be sparked again, because this Ace of Wands is very passionate. So whatever, in the next month or two, whatever you find yourself wanting to do a lot, just know that that's something that you've learned over many lifetimes, and you are the best at it. So it's really important for you to commit to that, and to allow yourself to do that, because that's your divine calling. It's why you're here. You've done it before. Maybe even do a past life regression. You can find some on YouTube that'll guide you. But yeah, you'll be stepping into your soul purpose as you release this last weight. I'm going to take a few Scrabble letters for you about what this might be. Oh my god, this is a blank one. I feel like this is like a blank slate. Clear your slate. We have A and we have D. I immediately thought addiction, addict, but again, yeah, I feel like graduate and leave behind and end whatever you're addicted to, and move into this blank slate. I'll pull one more. Another A. Goodness. Ada. Hannah. Dada. Okay. Also, what came out, oh my god, what came out with that is go for a walk. So, again, if you're feeling that temptation towards something, just get up and go for a walk and allow your mind to stop thinking about it in that way. Going in nature has been really helpful for me. Usually, after maybe an hour or two, my thoughts will have completely gone away from whatever was disturbing my inner peace. I'll draw one or two more. Got two. Okay, so for those witches out there with the Hangman and the Ace of Wands, those magic folk out there, first I have listened to a reading. So there are a lot of excellent readers on YouTube. If you look up like your zodiac sign, your moon, your rising, or your stellium, or also, you know, my readings, you guys, you can find out a lot of information. There are a lot of people who do pick-a-cards, like, you know, starseed pick-a-cards, past life pick-a-cards, you know, what 2020 or like May of 2020 will be bringing to you. So that might be helpful for you at this time, just to get a little bit more information. Yeah, and then I also have do a spell. So frickin' witches, whoever's listening to this, I feel like you are magical, and maybe the only thing that's been stopping your magic is this temptation card over here. So maybe find like a release spell or something for addiction, or I would wait for a manifestation spell until you've let yourself release this. So I would focus first on purifying and releasing, and then doing the spells for, you know, manifestation. So that is your reading. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like an additional reading from me, I will be doing some sort of like discount for readings relating to this, and I will leave that price in the description with my website and my email. Also, if you just need support or want to tell me about what you're going through, please email me. You know, I know a lot of people are struggling with quarantine, and I'm really open to, you know, talking about whatever's going on, especially for those who are watching these videos, because it means a lot to me that you are here supporting me in doing what I love to do. So that is your reading for you. I am sending you strength and willpower and faith during this time, that, you know, you can rise above these challenges and move forward in a positive way. So thank you for watching, and happy new moon. Hello group 3, and welcome to your reading. I left out the 2 cards from the general reading from earlier today, so if you haven't watched that yet, please do before watching this. It'll give you a little insight about the energy that I'm about to read to you. So your oracle cards that I got are Message in a Bottle in reverse and Higher Power in reverse. I'm going to leave them upright though, because I like that better. So you are getting a lot of insight right now. Make sure that you are keeping your ears open to receiving, your eyes open to seeing, and your heart open to receiving. I definitely feel like Spirit, the universe, whatever you want to call it, God, is really trying to communicate with you. There is a higher power that is really trying to help you understand something during this time. So maybe set the intention, like at the beginning of the day. This could be really potent for you. Setting the intention, you know, today I am open to receiving guidance. I am open to receiving clarity. about whatever it is, and just being clear and saying it out loud and really intending that it happens will be very powerful for you. Now you have quite a few tarot cards here, so let's get into it. We have the Sun card, we have the Seven of Swords, we have the Five of Wands, the King of Wands in reverse, the Four of Wands, and the Three of Swords in reverse. So, this timeline, I'm reading it like a timeline, could really go forwards and backwards to the same thing. I feel like there has been some sort of illumination. Somehow the universe has been trying to tell you this, and so either you're finally deciding to listen, or you're needing to hear it from me. There's somebody here, I feel like a fire sign, or somebody with a lot of fire energy that you can't trust. The Seven of Swords is like a very sneaky, deceitful person. The King of Wands can be someone very controlling. And with the Sun card, that is the sign of Leo. So this might be somebody with heavy Leo energy. It could also be somebody like young. Or childlike. Generally the Sun is a really beautiful card, so it could also just be like an illumination about, a situation that was happening that wasn't fair. The Five of Wands is about conflict and maybe even competition, so I see this also as like the walking away card, even though it doesn't really mean that in this deck. So maybe you walking away has created some sort of conflict, and maybe it was hard for you to do that, but just know that what you're moving towards is like one of the most beautiful cards as well. Also the Sun card, guys, two of the most beautiful cards in the tarot. This is the 1111 card, so harmony and clarity and rising above and, a happy ending. And maybe you had to, walk away from this fire sign or this toxic, controlling person to allow that bliss to enter your life. And you're moving into a place now where, you might be still getting over this heartbreak or this feeling of betrayal, but you're no longer sitting in that energy anymore, which is really beautiful. Like, This feels a lot heavier than the other readings, and maybe you were ignoring the red flags since that message in a bottle and the higher power came in reverse, so maybe, you were getting these insights, but you just didn't want to see it, maybe you're like that Sun card of like the innocent child who may come off as naive sometimes, but it's just because you want to believe the best in everyone, and you want to believe that everyone has the best intentions and wants what's best for you, but that's not always true. And it's not because they're necessarily bad people, but everyone has their own shit, so it just feels like this person was toxic for you. Hey, sorry about that interruption, you guys. My camera just died, so I needed to let it charge a little bit. So usually when I do readings, I'll take things very literally, so, if I start to feel a certain way before, or if something happens during, I usually directly relate it to the reading itself. So, since the camera died, and it was supposed to be at a half charge, I definitely feel like this situation felt disempowering, because the King of Wands upright is also like a very empowered, standing in their power, but in reverse it feels like something that maybe was draining you, like this fighting, like it's like someone was being dishonest with you and there were a lot of fights regarding it and it was just draining you. Like there was some kind of like energy vampire. And so I feel like you need to take a break from that situation, and I was going to say completely walk away, but because I just needed to take a break and come back, it could also be a situation like that where you, if this is, involving another person, which I feel like it is, maybe you are just needing to really step away and, decide how to move forward from here and just really nurture yourself and, whatever that means for you. So, moving on, a couple of oracle cards we have for you are Hope and Happiness. That is beautiful. And Maintain Your Childlike Spirit. So, yeah, whatever the situation was, it feels like it was very heavy and burdensome. So, as you choose to walk away from it and you step back into your power, it just feels like it'll bring a lot of hope and happiness to you. It'll help you feel lighter. And it's interesting because, you starting out, you have the sun, which is like the childlike spirit, and then you have this card that says maintain your childlike spirit. So maybe this situation just became heavy, and stepping away will kind of help you regain that childlike view of the world that is without fear and that trusts. So I feel like as you, recover from this, your next biggest challenge is going to be learning to trust again, and just make sure to not close yourself off after, all of this has happened. So next we have transformation. So part of this alchemy that you can be doing is to understand how this person or, thing helped you grow. It says, this fairy tells you to surrender to a transformation in your life that's happening for your highest good. Embrace your transformation. The best is yet to come. So as you go through this, just remember, the good things. And don't let that, encourage you to walk back into a toxic situation, but, try to not dwell on the negatives with this, and know that it happened for a reason, and that sometimes things just, the time will run out on them. So it definitely feels like through this you will be growing through pain and trusting your intuition as well, because this choosing to walk away from the toxic situation is something that I feel like your gut has been telling you, and so choosing to walk away will just open up so much more space for you to grow into the person and the soul that you really are. Okay, a couple of dream oracle cards. We have Teeth. Take a big bite out of life, it says. Chase. Face and embrace the person in the mirror. Falling. Drop into the deep end of your soul. And Flower. Pluck the weeds and plant the seeds of your most magnificent expression. So, this person that you were with may have been a karmic partner. They may have been showing you aspects of yourself that you were needing to face in this lifetime in order to, overcome them and grow as a soul. So maybe you were that way in a past life, or maybe you embodied, aspects of this person, or maybe they brought them out in you, and this situation was here in order to help you, grow as a soul. And while it was hard, just know that with every fall also comes a rise. Each wave, there's always an apex after the, what do you call it? That, you guys, that. So pluck the weeds and plant the seeds of your most magnificent expression. This has kind of been a theme for one of the other piles in this reading, and also just for people during quarantine. You know, noticing what fits in your life and what does not, what feeds your soul and what drains you, you know, what empowers you and what takes your power from you. And through the process of, you know, plucking the negativity from your life and your energy and planting seeds of harmony and joy and fulfillment will be really powerful for you. You know, choosing what you'd like to stay in your life will really help with this transformation. And the more that you pluck the old weeds, the more room that there is for the new beautiful flowers to come in. So I feel like, you know, you might be at that little like point of limbo when you're really having to look back at everything that happened and really reflect on it. And doing that, you'll be able to recognize like what you'd like to keep and what you'd like to let go of. With teeth here, I would also like to say to just be conscious of what you say. Be conscious of the words that you use, the language that you use, how you phrase things, and know that you can create your reality with your words. And take a big bite out of life. I definitely feel like that's, you know, telling you that to not be afraid, like I said, to open your heart. And also having this in the background, goodness. I'm getting tired, you guys. These readings actually take more out of you than you would, or take more out of me than one would expect. But with teeth here, it just feels like there were some harsh words because, you know, this person might have been a liar, this person might have been a gossip or saying things that were hurtful. And with the Five of Wands, it created conflict. Like this person, I feel like, was trying to anger you so that they could get your energy. And it's a very typical narcissistic trait too. This person may be a narcissist. Honestly, the guy in this card kind of looks like a narcissist to me. But yeah, this person might have been trying to get a rise out of you so that they could take energy from you from your reaction and, you know, lower your vibration in doing that to one of anger or even revenge. And I feel like you rose above it, like, and this is kind of relating to another reading I did too. I feel like this might be the same person, one of you that's watching this. Like, you're like this woman here in like the cave that's just like, whatever, like, I'm literally so freaking above and beyond the petty bullshit that you're in right now that, like, it's not even affecting me. That's really what it feels like. And this is all about, like, rising above, so it's like you had this shitty person in your life. Sorry, but for lack of a better term, like, it just feels like a really negative energy, and you may have just been trying to make excuses for them. You might be an empath. There's like this karmic cycle that a lot of empaths and narcissists go through together. If you don't know much about that, I would recommend watching a video on it because this is kind of screaming that right now. But I just feel like, yeah, this person was trying to get a rise out of you, and because you are so light and sensitive and you believe in love, they thought that they could just keep getting away with it. But I think this is your, you know, maybe one of your hard lessons that this person came to teach you, in that sometimes unconditional love does mean walking away, because if you stay in something that is disempowering to yourself, you can't function in the most optimum way. And if you're an empath, that means that you're some sort of light worker that's here to help heal people. But you need to first do that for yourself. And an important question to ask yourself is, like, would I give the advice, if there was a friend or someone who came to me in this same situation, would I advise them to stay? And if the answer is no, then that is something to really pay attention to. So moving forward, I have quite a few. You guys got more from this deck than any of the other guys. Tarot Oracle cards. I really love this deck. First we have Patience. This is Temperance. They're planting the seeds, so that goes along, I think, with that flower card. We have the Heart Chakra. We have 2 4s there. The Throat Chakra. I feel like I know who this is for. Sweet one, I'm glad that you finally did it. And I just said some of the same stuff that you and I said when we talked last. Well, not last, but when we've talked about this. We have 7 of Wands, Stand Your Ground. 6 of Pentacles, Spiritual and Material Prosperity. I'll move these over a little bit more. Okay, and then your last one is Wisdom, the Hierophant. So this is freaking beautiful, you guys. So a couple of things I noticed. First of all, with the Patience card, it's like in the past you were very patient with this. You really just stood as like that, not silent, but, you know, just noble, like very noble, in trying to be mature about everything that was happening. And I feel like recently you have, you know, spoken your truth from your heart and defended yourself, and not in a way that was combative, but in a way of like, hey, I know my worth, and you know, the way that you've been treating me is not right, and I deserve better. And you know, like, especially if you were in a relationship with this person, I really feel like, you know, just telling them that you don't think that you should treat somebody you love that way. I really feel like, and if you haven't had that conversation, then I think it needs to happen. Because you're demanding a more equal give and take. This 6 of Pentacles is all about an equal give and take. So, you know, you're realizing that you can't just give, and give, because that's not fair and that's not balanced. You know, you're understanding that, you know, even though you are this light being and you want to, you know, give everybody the benefit of the doubt and just love, sometimes it just doesn't work that way, and sometimes people need the hard lesson. And with karmic partners, it goes both ways. You know, they were here to help you come into your power and recognize your worth, and you were here to, you know, show them the hard lessons of what can happen when, you know, you don't appreciate what you have. You know, like, you're showing them that they need to step into the love frequency. And then with Wisdom here, I just feel like this was a huge lesson for you. You have a beginning and an ending of major arcanas. So this definitely feels like a big soul lesson that is going to be a great big release that will allow you to step fully into your beautiful, magnificent power. And this is where you're restarting, and I feel like you might still be a little bit in the thick of the heartbreak, just because there are so many heavy cards here, but with transformation right in the middle, it just feels really beautiful to me. Like, you're done ignoring the signs, you finally understand, you're finally listening, even though you might have, you know, emotion and love for this person. You're finally understanding that, you know, maybe it's not reciprocal, or maybe not to the level, because I feel like you love so hard, like an overflowing cup, and anyone would be lucky to have the kind of love that you offer, and this person just didn't. You know, they didn't realize how good they had it, and I feel like they tried to take advantage of your pure heart, and that's just so wrong. It's just so wrong. So you have gained a lot of wisdom from this. I think you fully understand now that what you need to do is move forward in a way that you're getting just as much as you're giving. And in the future, because usually when we have a big lesson like this, we might run into like a test. And I think that in the future now you have this information so that, you know, if you get involved with someone again, you can recognize when things aren't balanced and, you know, speak your truth and stand your ground, really. I think it's cool that we also have 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7. It's okay. And then I have 2 more cards for you. First, we have Dark Night of the Soul. So, yeah, pretty much that goes along with everything I just said, that this happened so that you could grow as a soul. This is something that was agreed upon between you and this other person in order to help you both grow. And, you know, just if you're struggling with this, ask for assistance from angels and from, you know, any higher spirit that you pray to or believe in, and they will be there to help you through this. You've gone through the thick of it already, and it was just to prepare you for the brilliance that is to come. And then next we have Unplugged from Mass Consciousness. So as a sensitive person, you might struggle with overwhelming thoughts, and your guides right now are really asking you to unplug from like social media, from the news, from any fear consciousness, and to just be with yourself. You might have like this person on social media or their friends on social media, and you might be tempted to check in on them because, you know, you still have emotion for them, but, you know, your guides just want you to know that, you know, if you're really to move forward, the path of least resistance is to put all of your focus on yourself and not on, you know, the external that is not present in your life. Okay. So I'm going to pull a couple Scrabble letters for you, and then if you watched my last reading, I have these little papers of stuff that I wrote down I can do during quarantine. So I'll pull you a couple of those. So what are some letters involved with this situation? Well, okay. I got a bunch of papers. I feel like you are a busy bee and you have a lot of ways to fill your day. So your letters are H and N, whatever that means for you. Maybe they called you Hun. I don't know. Maybe this will be sweet like honey. Maybe you're sweet like honey. Maybe it's initials. I don't know. Okay, but you got 4 pieces of paper that literally just fell out. So I'm going to read these to you. Go somewhere. So instead of just sitting in your home and like letting your thoughts run your mind, go somewhere. Maybe go in nature and take a hike. Let yourself go to the grocery store and get, you know, foods that'll nourish your soul. You know, protein and raw fruits and veggies and stuff that'll just really, feed your soul and help you heal physically, and that'll help you heal emotionally. Next we have Sage Cleanse. So the reason that this might still be on your mind so much is because you are very deeply connected with this person energetically, and it's really important for you to cleanse. So I had to tell this to another group too during this reading that, you know, it might be more important for you right now to be taking like Epsom salt baths, to cleanse yourself, to cleanse your space, to make sure to do it every day, and intend that it will be so. Also, I'm speaking to a Lightworker here as well, and you know how to clear energy, so it's really important for you to do that for yourself as well. Next we have Call Someone. So maybe you have some friends who can help you through this. If you haven't spoken your truth from your heart to this person, maybe you need to call them and tell them, like, hey, this is what happened. Like, I had a lot of love for you, and I'm sorry that you didn't see my worth, but I deserve better, and, you know, I wish that things could have been different, but, you know, I need this, 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 and this, and you could not give me that. It might also just be like calling up your loved ones and making sure that they're doing okay too. That could make you, you know, feel a little better and take your mind off it. And then your last one is watch Netflix. So, like, I think you need to chill because you're somebody who is just, like, very busy and, you know, like when I said, like, 4 of these fell out, like, you're a master at keeping yourself busy, but sometimes you just need to chill. And I'm gonna be honest, when this camera died because it ran out of energy, it ran out of battery, I realized I was freaking hungry, so you know what I did? I made myself some late night dinner, and I watched a couple episodes of The Office, and I came back fully recharged, and the camera was recharged too. So let yourself relax, nurture yourself, and just know that you've made the right decision in walking away from this toxic relationship. So that is your reading. If you want to talk about this that's going on, or if you would like any additional readings, I will leave my email below, and I welcome you to send me a message. I'll also leave my website where I'll be posting different, you know, not journal entries, but I talk a lot about the energies happening corresponding with different tarot cards, so feel free to check that out, and I wish you so much healing and love and peace during this time. In relation to that first reading, I think that you are still in the thick of the regeneration, so you might not yet know what Treasure Island is for you, but don't rush it, and just know that how you treat yourself now and how you spend your time now is what you can expect in the future. So much love for you, and thank you so much for watching. Hello, Group 4. Welcome to your reading. As you can see, I did leave out the 2 cards from the original reading that I did, the general reading for this Libra new moon. If you haven't watched that yet, please do. It'll sort of give you an overview of what we're about to talk about. So let's dig in. And you have a lot going on here, my friend. So your root cards here are Milk and Honey and Clean It Up. So what this tells me is that, you know, we are in quarantine right now, and I feel like you have been sort of succumbing to creature comforts and pleasure, and maybe overdoing it a little bit to the point that it is affecting your health. So sort of the theme of this is that you're needing to sort of rework, not rework, but find a balance. And with that, also just making sure that your space is being kept nice, because that'll help your mindset. This feels definitely a little bit heavy. My head, I'm kind of starting to get like a little bit of a headache on my third eye, so you know, you might be feeling blocked from your intuition because of you know, a little bit of overindulgence, and a little bit of a messy area can kind of mess with your head a little bit. So you know, taking the time to just be present and enjoy the small things too with Clean It Up can be really helpful for you. So a couple of tarot cards to sort of clarify this. We have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse, the 3 of Wands in reverse, and the 4 of Swords. So Yeah, this definitely goes along with what I was just saying with this Nine of Pentacles. If you can see, these pentacles are going straight into her stomach. So it just feels like you're sort of disempowering yourself a little bit with your habits. And that's totally understandable. This is a stressful time, and you might be doing it because of stress. You might be feeling less independent right now as well, because upright, this is like the strong, independent lady. But it definitely feels like you might be a little bit in lack mentality, and like maybe you've let the fear of everything that's happening right now to sort of get to you, and you're just not really treating yourself so nicely because you're not feeling very well about the events that are happening in the world. The Three of Wands in reverse is talking about not expanding, not, moving, like just staying in the same place. So I feel like maybe these are habits that maybe you've had for a few years that you're not letting yourself grow beyond them. So Spirit's really asking you to look at those and really clean up your habits, because they might be holding you back from this treasure island that, you're working towards. And then the Four of Swords is about resting and recovering. So, you're in this energy because you are in this restful state, and when your body slows down, we can fall more into these habits of like laziness or overindulgence, and I totally feel that, and I get that. This is just sort of a reminder for you to make sure that you're not overdoing it, and because it can exhaust you, especially if this does have to do with eating with like, milk and honey. It does feel like that. Also sex too, you guys. I was watching a video on Tantra, and it was saying that, if you're doing it for sheer pleasure and not channeling the energy, that can exhaust you as well. So when we focus too much on pleasure, we can actually feel more exhausted and more depressed even than if we, worked on strengthening our willpower. So I think willpower is key for you guys who got this reading, that this regeneration will happen when you, start small, but, start working on your willpower a little bit here. Okay, so a few more oracle cards for you guys. We have empowerment, infinite blessings. My cat just sneezed. Did you hear that? That was really cute. And then we have ideal course of action and contemplation, both in reverse. So I feel like you guys might be thinking a lot. We also have two lions here. We have two lions and a bunch of pink flowers. So you might be thinking a lot, and maybe that's why you're turning to these creature comforts, because you just want to get out of your mind a little bit, whether, you do that through eating food or drinking, whatever that is. It just feels like, maybe you just need to like write it down instead of letting it turn over in your head, or you need to find someone to talk to, maybe a therapist or a psychic, whatever that may be, to work through what's in your mind, or to find a practice too that can get you out of your mind. I always will recommend yoga above anything, because that's really what set my mind free from, the incessant thinking and nagging and fear. And that's also what empowered me. And you have the empowerment card and infinite blessings. So it definitely feels like You know, don't think about where you're going to go if you're not happy about where you are now, I think is the main message for this group, because, you know, we need to step into the present before we can move on to the future. And if we don't do that, then we'll find ourselves in a very similar position and we'll have to learn the lesson either way. So now you are really being called to, you know, empower yourself and, yeah, so I would say specifically exercise for this group is really important. You know, going for a walk or a run, if you have weights in your home, or even just doing push-ups. And that's if you don't want to do yoga, but like yoga and dancing too, those can be really great ways to get your blood flowing and to get in touch with yourself and empower yourself and get out of your thoughts. But yeah, anything to get your blood pumping and to bring yourself into your body feels good. For those watching this. Yeah, and once you empower yourself in whatever way that works for you, that's when this treasure island will really come. But until then, it just feels like you'll still be in this limbo of, you know, you're not helping yourself, and if you're not helping yourself, then the universe doesn't want to help you. So you need to help yourself first, and then the blessings will flow in. So your cards are Moon Energy. These are from the Fairy Oracle. Moon Energy, surrender to the natural ebb and flow of life. If you're feeling confused, this fairy comes to calm emotions and reassure you that peace of mind is possible. So definitely, first thing I thought with that is lunar energy is also very much like physical world. If you look at, you know, the moon and the sun is more soul essence and the moon is more cell essence. So it's definitely, I feel like you are in a very feminine yin energy, and that might be why, you know, you're indulging in the pleasure so much, and it might be making you feel tired. And so you need to bring in some sun energy to balance that. So anyway, to just get that chi flowing, like you really need to get your blood flowing, or you might be at risk of getting sick as well. Yeah, because that movement of chi is really important. And when I say sick, it's not just physically sick, it can also be mentally sick. You know, that card talked about feeling confused, and sometimes confusion can happen when we're living too much in the physical world and, you know, like pleasure, like physical pleasure, and not putting any focus on like mental or spiritual development. So if this is yours, if this is your reading, find a way to bring more chi into your life, because that you are probably feeling pretty drained. And while it is important to take care of ourselves, I just get a vibe that it's like too much. You know, too much of your favorite foods that might not be good for you, or too much of your favorite Netflix show, or too much of, you know, having sex, or like whatever it is. You need to find the balance of your two hemispheres. There might even be a little bit of like a bipolarity to someone watching this. It's talking about the natural ebb and flow, which, you know, life will always be a little bit like this, but maybe for this person, they haven't found a way to balance those two hemispheres yet. And so to empower yourself and to get the blessings that the universe wants to give you, you need to find a way to balance your energy moving forward so that what you're moving into will be more stable. your other card here is New Beginnings. This fairy godmother heralds the joyous news of a new baby or the birth of a cherished idea. Protect and nurture your ideas as you would a baby. So if you are expecting a child, make these changes not only for yourself but for them, because often we take on our parents' habits, and you could prevent this karmic cycle happening to another human being if you really choose to take care of it within yourself. If it's not that, if it's not a child, then it could be just a project, getting started, something that you've been wanting to do. And I feel like it'll come when you decide to have the willpower, and that showing that you're willing to put in some kind of effort to improve the situation in your life will show the universe that you're ready for this new beginning. Okay, and I have a few dream oracle cards. I feel like I'm talking to someone who also watched the last reading, because there are a lot of the same cards here. So we have bathroom, flush away all that no longer serves you. Job, love what you do and do what you love. And baby, reconnect with your innocence. So these two cards with this card were in the last reading. So you very well might be expecting a child, and if you're not, and if you've had unprotected sex, I'd get that checked. You might be working in a job that also feels disempowering, or a job that is just no longer for your greatest good. And if you've been thinking about leaving it, it feels supported by your guides, because it's not allowing you to grow and expand. If you can see this Three of Wands in reverse, it's like you're not getting to go anywhere, you're not getting to advance. So it's almost like you've advanced as far as you can and you're still not happy with it, and so that's a sign to move on. You might, if you are expecting a child, feel so much more fulfilled being a father or a mother, because you're very nurturing with the moon energy, and maybe you just haven't found someone that you felt like was deserving of that love that you have to share. But if you are expecting a child, maybe the innocence of it will be so refreshing to you, and it will love you so unconditionally that you'll finally feel that fulfillment that you've always wanted to feel from love. But with this bathroom card, flush away all that no longer serves you, I really do think that this is talking about a habit too that is really just draining you. Alcohol, food, too much sex. All of those things can drain your energy, again, especially if not done right. A little bit of alcohol, fine. A decent serving of food, that's balanced. Have a little, vegetables, fruits, especially, raw fruits and vegetables to help you metabolize water, or what's it called? Like alkaline, like coconut water helps you soak in the hydration more. And I just feel like you're not focusing on your health as much as you need to be. But it's really important that you do so for this new chapter of your life. Okay. A bunch of tarot oracle cards fell out for you, so we're going to look at those now. We have Spiritual Union. Can you see that there? Yes, okay. We have the Two of Wands, the Waiting Game, 2-2. That's funny, and this reading was for the 22nd of April of 2020, so that's funny because you got 2-2 and it's 2-2-2-2. Truth, oh my god, that's 222. And that's the Judgment card. Love begins. The Ace of Cups. The Eight of Wands, accelerated motion. Five of Pentacles, financial and material changes. And then the Ace of Pentacles, prosperity begins. So, you cannot see all of these. Hold on. So first thing I noticed, you got 222 right off the bat. So what 222 is, what it means as far as angel numbers go, and especially with that spiritual union card, it's even more apparent here. You are in some sort of partnership that is asking you to examine yourself. Hey, sorry about that, you guys. My camera just died again. Interestingly enough, the person I feel like I'm talking to, the camera also died the last time I read for this person. So you may need to recharge your batteries, and again, that could go back to, you know, the negative habits that might be draining you. But with the cards that came up here, looking at the 222 and specifically with that spiritual union card, there's a soulmate in your midst that is really showing you yourself. They are mirroring you. And you might feel like you're waiting for something right now and planning even. The Two of Wands is a lot about like making plans. I feel like these are all connected. You have the Truth card next, which is the Judgment card. It can also be like a rebirth. And it can be a divine gift being bestowed upon you. With the Ace of Cups directly after it, I feel like you are waiting to come forward to somebody that you feel like you have a strong spiritual connection with, and an emotional connection. And you might want to come forward with your truth. I think it's interesting that the Judgment card shows up as truth here. So I just got really hot all of a sudden. So this might be something that makes you really nervous, because I feel like it's like 10 degrees hotter in this room than it was when I sat down. I think that when you speak your truth, you will have some sort of new beginning that is very fulfilling, and it might come in pretty quick with that accelerated motion. The Eight of Wands card is about movement. Yeah, something is definitely coming in. With the financial and material changes, that could have to do with if you are expecting a child. Prosperity begins. This feels like a partnership. I think it's interesting that you have two beginnings here. It's almost like a new relationship, and then also a new, this could be like a new job or a new like way of financial income, but it feels like a partnership. Like you might be working together with someone. This could also be working with someone on a creative project as well. And that might also be what you're waiting on, because here with the prosperity begins, these are both trees with roots. So it feels like you're waiting for your ideas to take root. But before all of this happens, I think that, you know, it's important that you overcome whatever this like overindulgent energy is. And you may already be doing it, you know. You may already be doing it or starting to work on it. I just feel that, you know, this is all very positive down here. This is freaking beautiful. So, and because this is at the end, I definitely feel like as you move through this, this is where it'll land you for sure. This feels really significant, the 222 and then the beginning, and it's coming in quickly, and another beginning. I'm going to move on though, because otherwise I feel like I'm going to be redundant with my words, and I don't want the camera to die again. So you have 3 of these Lightworker Oracle cards, and you were the only person in this draw that got 3. You got a lot of cards here, my friend. So the first one is Soul Child, which really makes me feel like you are going to have a baby. Because now we have new beginnings with a baby in it, we have baby with baby in it, and we have Soul Child. So you may really be expecting a child, and maybe that's why you're wanting to clean up your act a little bit so that you can be a positive influence on this child. If this isn't the case, then you're being called to tap into your inner divine child and to reconnect with it and reconnect with your innocence moving forward. Next, you have Power of the Divine Masculine. This card talks a lot about reclaiming your power as well, and that can come when you empower yourself, and when you make decisions that are empowering for yourself. So I feel like you're definitely in this more feminine moon energy over here, and as you're moving forward, and especially as we transition into spring and summer, you'll feel more powerful. This card also talks about the power of saying no in a loving way, and knowing when something is for you and when something is not. So you're reclaiming your voice. And the power over your life. If you can see, it's almost like he's got like magic in his hands, and he's moving these things, these particles with his power. So I think that you are really a potent manifester, but you've let your energy become bogged down by overindulgence and pleasure with that Milk and Honey card in reversed, and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, the Three of Wands in reverse. Something else that I did think of, if you are expecting a child, while the camera was charging, and kind of thought about this connection, you might be thinking about an abortion. And I don't really have any advice on that, but it's just a possibility here with this Nine of Pentacles reversed. Just feels like getting rid of it. Three of Wands, not expanding, like not letting the belly, the womb, whatever, expand. But with Soul Child, I definitely do feel like the child wants to be born, because this card really says that this child has a purpose. And again, if you're not expecting to get pregnant or anything, then it is referring to, your own purpose and tapping into it. Whatever makes you joyful, and even doing it as a job. With financial changes and prosperity begins, it could definitely be that as you show your self-love here, with your inner truth, and you really put in the work and tap into your own willpower, you might have an income doing what your soul really loves to do. I will say I am just really stuck on the idea of an actual baby, though, because you have a baby here, you have baby, you have Soul Child, and you have 2 ones. Okay, so your last card is Key of Light. So if you didn't watch the general reading that I posted, I would still really recommend watching that, you guys, because I did talk about this a lot in that too. You're learning how to rewire your brain to a certain kind of alchemy where, in order to, remove fear from your life, and confusion from your life, you decide to focus on the positive, because there is always a silver lining, and not only that, every situation is perfect in and of itself, because even when it's inconvenient, it's helping us learn. Really, when we look back on our lives, the most harrowing of experiences helped us grow most as a person and a soul. So right now you're really being challenged to choose to see your situation as the best possible thing that could happen to you, because you really are so protected. And this card talks a lot about also Archangel Michael cheering you on. So even in if you are looking for a new job, Archangel Michael is definitely supporting you and wanting to give you courage. So you can call on him at any time, and he will be there to help you stay motivated and strong and confident. And that does go a lot with the Divine Masculine as well. I will say overall this reading, it feels like there's a lot going on. Like, you specifically have a lot going on in your life, and that might be why, you know, you've turned to the creature comforts, because it's just so much that, like, you need an escape. It just feels very busy to me compared to some of the other readings, and it just, you might be feeling overwhelmed, and like, just know that, you know, as you choose to make better choices for yourself, you will bring in better situations for yourself as well. Make sure that you remember to do what you can to, you know, get out of your head, and just trust that these new beginnings that are coming to you will be very beautiful. Also, it's important to remember to see yourself in others with this 222 and the spiritual union card. If you can't see, it's like two people like seeing each other like a mirror. So, yeah. I am going to pull a couple of these Scrabble letters for you, and a couple of these, if you didn't watch my last video before the Libra new moon one, these are just like things I can do during quarantine, so I'm going to pull a few of those and see if they resonate as well. So what are some letters that might resonate with this reading? Okay, you got a lot more letters than other people. And I got some paper in my hand too. So what do we have here? We have D, N, Dan, Dana, Dinner, oh, dinosaur, the dinner overdose. You're overdosing on your dinner. That's so funny, because what did I freaking say before, you guys? So it doesn't necessarily need to mean that, but I do feel like maybe there's like something like an overeating, just because specifically the Nine of Pentacles is in her stomach. Yeah. If any of those letters stick out to you, like a name or initials or something, that's fine. It just feels like an overdoing it. Maybe you were being overworked at your job, overdoing it at your job. It's just like too much. This Milk and Honey card in reverse is like too much. So yeah, I feel like that's like your general message here. I pulled go outside, so for you it might be extra important for you to go outside, go for a walk and get some fresh air. That can help you clear your mind, get out of your head, and you know, feel less tempted. You know, that could be your way of incorporating more yang into your life, to balance out that moon energy and to empower the Divine Masculine within you. And then, oh my god, watch Netflix. So, yeah, maybe you've been like watching Netflix with your dinner. No, that's fine. I think it's just finding a balance between these two. Yeah, I think that's all that I have for you. If you would like a personal reading branching off of this, because, you know, while this was more specific than the general reading, it still is fairly vague because it will reach, you know, more than one person. So if you'd like a general reading, I will leave my email and my website in the description. You can look at the different readings I offer, or just email me and ask for, you know, a reading about this. I haven't decided on my price for this one, but it'll probably be discounted if it's in reference to this reading. Yeah, and if you need support or anything, I am here. I know a lot of people are feeling, you know, alone during the quarantine, so if you just need an ear to, you know, hear you, I'm here, and thank you so much for watching my video. I wish you so much empowerment and, you know, newfound power. Like, really, I think that's, yeah, I'm really wishing that for you, and I'm really hoping that this new beginning is very beautiful and filled with joy for you. So, thank you again for watching, and happy new moon to you.